All right, let's talk about the draft picks once again. Who will have the biggest impact year one, and who was Motor City Sports Talk favorite pick and least favorite pick. Let's get into it. We back. Hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. Appreciate everybody for checking in and kind of talk about the biggest impact. I mean, you got a running back, you got a cornerback, and you know what I'm saying, you got a receiver from Wisconsin, Cephus. I mean, you got two offensive linemen, you got a D lineman late in the draft. I mean, you got a linebacker / outside pass rusher and Okwara. You got a lot of different guys that got an opportunity to make an impact. But let me say this as a disclaimer: the linemen, other than the D lineman out of Ohio State, the offensive linemen, they're gonna have a hard time getting credit. You know what I'm saying? Only way they gonna get credit for people who played the trenches or who know the trenches in the NFL, or people who read the Pro Football Focus, or if he get the accolades, being a Pro Bowler or All-Pro. So I'm not going to include them, but I do think Stenberg and Jonah Jackson, I think his name Jonah Jackson from Ohio State. Sorry if I butchered it. They're going to have an opportunity to come in and start right away. I think they're going to keep Big V at right tackle, which I'm not a fan of, but they have an opportunity to come start right away. And they're going to be able to have a ability to make an instant impact. And they might have the biggest impact on the team, because if they're able to go out there and move mountains, they're able to open holes and protect Matthew Stafford and keep him upright, right then and there, keeping Stafford upright and opening holes for running backs and having a 1,000-yard rusher or having a successful run game and keeping Stafford healthy, if they the starters on the interior linemen, that's going to be the biggest impact you can have. Because if they let Stafford go down and get hurt because of the offensive line not doing their job and they start in the interior, then that impacts the whole season. So I think they might have the biggest impact if they get in there and start right away. And I think they both were seniors as well too, so they seasoned. But as far as from a regular fan's perspective and touching the ball, scoring touchdowns and stopping touchdowns from being scored, I think DeAndre Swift is going to have the biggest impact, just because running backs translate easier to the NFL. He's going to be able to touch the ball more than Okwara. He's going to be able to touch the ball more than Jeff Okudah. And I think Okwara, he got an opportunity, Julian got an opportunity to go out there and get some sacks and rush the quarterback as well. But my issue with him is they just don't blitz enough. He going to have a lot of one-on-ones, and, he not going to be able to be a free blitzer off the edge. So I just think, Swift brings something to the backfield that we don't have, and that's explosiveness. Georgia's been a running back factory, from Todd Gurley to Nick Chubbs to, Sony Michel. So I think he's going to come out there and do well. I think he's going to be a factor in the receiving game and the running game, outside the tackles, inside the tackles. So I think DeAndre Swift is going to probably be the most impactful as far as numbers and stuff of that nature. And he just got a position that people can see every time, he on the field. Picking up blitzes, pass protection, lining up in the slot. He just got a flashy position that translates easy to the NFL. But if I had a second pick, I'm probably going to go with Julian Okwara. That'll be my backup pick. And with Jeff Okudah, it's just a big learning curve for a cornerback position. I think he have a good rookie year, but we got to see what different does Matt Patricia bring. Does he blitz more? Does he continue to rush 3 or 4? And if he continues to do that, him and Trufant going to have tough seasons, adjusting to what Melvin went through and Darius Slay went through and Coleman went through last year. So, it usually take a couple years for a cornerback to get his feet wet in the league, especially when you don't got no pressure up front. So I'm going to go with DeAndre Swift and Okwara will be my backup as, being the most impactful rookies year one, outside of the interior linemen that we got. But, I think Okudah going to be a really good player. They just got to get more pressure on the quarterback, and he got to blitz more to let, Okudah and Desmond Trufant and maybe Amani Orakwe or Justin Coleman, for them to be successful, because your back end is very, very young. I mean, your safeties are very, very non-experienced. I don't know if it's be Will Harris or the guy Harmon from New England. I know Tracy Walker should take a step forward this year, but the cornerbacks are sandwiched into two pedestrian spots on the team. The front seven is pedestrian, unless Patricia can draw some schemes up to get some pressure, and then the safeties behind them, they inexperienced and they not all pro caliber. So Okudah in a tough spot, and I think year 2 or year 3, under somebody else is going to help him out a lot more than year one will. But it's a tough position to play. You don't remember hearing about Reeves taking over the league year one of Patrick Peterson. It takes some time. But yeah, it really, really does take some time. But those are the guys, that I really, really think is going to have the biggest impact. Now, personally, to talk about my favorite pick of the draft, I think my favorite pick was DeAndre Swift. And I say DeAndre Swift was my perfect pick because my favorite pick is I didn't think the Lions was going to do it. They usually would take a lineman in the second round or take a slow running back or take somebody with a 19 ACL injuries or a receiver that's crazy and loopy in the head. So DeAndre Swift was my favorite pick in the draft because it was out the norm. I think everybody wanted Swift. He was going to be there. And it was just a situation where it was, most people thought it was going to be SOL after not trading back and taking Jeff Okudah or not taking Herbert or taking Tua or something of that nature. I think most of us thought this was going to be the same old Lions. And it wasn't. They stepped out the box. They took a running back that had an A grade, a 91 grade from ESPN that, is different from Kerryon. He different from Bo Scarborough. And he come from a recently successful Georgia crop of running backs. So that really, really surprised me there with them taking him. And I just thought it was out the ordinary, and I thought he going to be an explosive player for the Lions. If I had a second favorite pick, it'd probably be Jeff Okudah. You know what I'm saying? Long, rangy. It came a time where we didn't believe in taking cornerbacks early on. He's the highest drafted cornerback since Terry Fair. We took Darius Slay. I think it was a shocker. Martin Mayhew and Matt Millen just didn't believe in bringing in cornerbacks. Martin Mayhew was a DB in this league, and he would consistently draft corners third and fourth round, pick them off the streets. Bill Bentley, Alex Carter, Aaron Bentley. I think they end up picking up Chris Houston at one point and then Dre Bly. They just didn't believe in spending money in the cornerback position. Their whole thing was, if we got a good front seven, the back end should do well. But you still have to put some type of nourishment. You have to have some type of, nourishment in your back end where you have developmental players that can become something. And none of those dudes became NFL starting cornerbacks. Chris Houston was okay. Dre Bly before him was okay. But they just didn't believe in having that number one corner. They had the D-line. Their linebackers, Justin Durant, Levy, they was cool. It's better than we had now. But they just didn't believe in putting in money and putting assets into the back end. And, now you got Bob Quinn who believe the opposite. You put the assets in the back end and then you just throw the bullshit up front. And, we just can't get that perfect mesh where we got a good front seven and we got good DBs, Either they believe the front four is important or the back end is important. But, Okudah, marks a change. Tease Tabor and Darius kind of turn the corner. And now, with Jeff Okudah here, I think he's going to be a great player for a long time to come. It's just going to take him a minute. And people may turn sour on him like Eric Ebron. He might get burnt, early on, especially with no pass rush. But eventually he'll catch on and be a dominant corner. But it's probably not going to happen right away. Now, my least favorite pick of the draft, I'm gonna say Stenberg out of Kentucky. You know what I'm saying? Not because I don't like him as a player or nothing like that. He just really, really thin. You know what I'm saying? He need to get stronger. I felt that it could have got some other, guys, right around that pick. Like I said, I'm a local guy. I want to see Donovan Peoples-Jones get drafted. And then some other guys, Thaddeus Moss, I think they could have took him around that round, and they could have had a nice 1-2 punch with T.J. Hockenson. I don't know why Thaddeus Moss didn't get drafted. He ended up signing with the Redskins, and I think he got injured or something. But with that athleticism and the ability to get downfield and stuff of that nature, and also, there was some other value players to be had there. But, it wasn't a bad pick. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it was worse, but that was my least favorite pick. I just thought they should have got stronger in the interior. Jonah Jackson, strong run blocker, solid pass blocker. I think they could have found somebody more of a role grader down there. But, I really don't have a problem with the pick. It was just my least favorite pick. It just seemed like, a safe pick. But, hey, just my opinion on that. Let me know what your favorite picks was, who you think the impactful player was, least favorite pick was. Motor City Spurs Talk. Appreciate the love, support. Want to make a donation to the channel, Cash App, PayPal in the description. You want to reach out to me if you have a business question, inquiry, response, video question, or you just want to chop it up. You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all the links in the description. Appreciate the love, support. One time for the one time. It's your boy CJ Good for the Mercy Sports Talk. Gone.